leaves and often bark to strengthen the spider web, and they make a lovely little cup-shaped nest glued onto the branch. Some of the robins actually use an upright fork in a tree, and they build their nests on that inside that little fork, and they're so clever. I've actually seen them where they go and peel off a piece of, or get a piece of spider web, put it onto the nest, but just let it dangle, and then go down to the lower part of the tree trunk, peel off a piece of bark, bring it back up, and glue that onto the side of their nest, and they repeat this so that it looks like there's a whole series of pieces of bark hanging down on their nest, and to completely camouflage their nest. So when you look at it from the side, it just looks like the bark of the tree. And not only do they do that, but I've seen them using moss. They've picked up moss and glued moss onto the side of their nest with a spider web, and also lichens. They've brought up lichens and put lichens on the side of the nest as well, extremely cleverly camouflaging their nests.
Are there a lot of different types of robins in WA, Eric?
Oh, yes, we have. In fact, robins are one of the incredible things in the eastern states. There's a whole series of robins that are called rose robins, pink robins, and flame robins. All of these are the ones with a darkish back and then a variety of reds or pinks or reddy colours on their breast. We have over here the one that we call the scarlet robin. It also extends into the eastern states. It is the one that has a totally black head and back, but a beautiful white patch immediately above its beak on the forehead, and red on the underneath, so the whole of their chest and belly is a brilliant red. The females are nowhere near as brightly coloured, but that particular one is endemic just to the southwest. And then we have one that is almost similar, darkish back, black face, beautiful red on the belly, but instead of having a white patch on the top of its head, it is got a red patch, and hence its name, the red-capped robin. And it is fairly widespread. It goes from up Shark Bay, and if you draw a line from Shark Bay straight across to the eastern states, it basically fills the inland areas, whereas the scarlet robin is more just in our forest coastal area, in the Jarrah Marri forest. And one of the strange things about that red-capped robin, if you go over to Rottnest Island, there's an isolated patch of red-capped robins living and nesting on Rottnest Island, which was most unusual because you'd normally expect it to be the scarlet robin, but it's the red-capped robin.
Eric McCrum, the Birdman, with us on Breakfast. Eric, can we hold you for just a moment? We're going to get some news headlines and we'll come back and take some questions.
Yes, certainly.
Pamela Medland from the newsroom joins us with...
No, we don't want to listen to news, guys. We just want to hear the Birdman. And I can't believe how good this camera is, considering the age of this phone that I'm using. It's a phone from 2001, and really, it's got to be 14, 15 years old, and it still picks up like it was new out of a box yesterday. Just want to say a big hello to everyone on YouTube. Obviously, Ivo Gab, the Birdman, and obviously Mr. Milky will return to Gibbo Gab one day soon. Not sure when, but he will return.
24 minutes past 7. A couple of bits of traffic information. Spill on Tonkin Highway southbound at Collier Road, Bayswater. There's a diesel spill in the left emergency lane. DFS on site. Traffic busy on approach. And just another reminder about the crash on the Braden Highway westbound on Wyndham Bridge east. There's right lane cross. Insert response on site. Traffic also busy in the area. Let's return now to Eric McCrum, the Birdman, and so many questions coming in. Eric, we'll start with Frances in Karrinyup.
Why not?
She would like to know what time of the year rainbow bee-eaters nest and what their call sounds like.
Well, the Noongar word for the rainbow bee-eater is berrin berrin. And if you can imagine this sort of a berrin 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 berrin, that's the typical type of its call. It's an onomatopoeic name for them. Anyway, during the winter season, when there's all the rainbow bee eaters have to catch their food in the air, and because at the moment there's literally very few insects in the air, it'd be foolish for them to be here. So during the winter time and later, or soon after that, they head north and spend their time at Geraldton, Carnarvon, Port Hedges area. They move to the north where there's plenty of aerial insects, and usually around about September, October, they return down here. And people who go to Kings Park, if you go near the DNA Tower, on the road immediately east of the DNA Tower, there's several of their burrows right in the side of the on the side of the road there at Kings Park. So they basically are October, November breeders, and you'll see them digging their holes into the ground and getting ready to do their nesting here. So October, November, and usually in the first or second week of March, all the babies by that time are fully fledged, flying, and basically on whole they fly north and spend all the cold autumn and winter months up north where there's plenty of food.
Barbara, Eric wants to know how she can discourage doves from invading her patio and leaving a terrible mess.
One of the best ways I've found there is to use get some ammonia and just dab that across where they walk, where their approach walk. Ammonia just sort of dabbed onto the ground, and that offends their nostrils because they use their nostrils quite a lot, and that's one of the best ways to detract those from there. The other thing might be is to see if you can get a statue of a cat or something like that and put that there. That'll scare them away as well.
Now, Sue has a problem with ravens. She says, can you ask the incredible Eric, I certainly can, Sue, why ravens on our rural block are suddenly obsessed with tearing our insect screens apart, every full-length one on our buildings, and how to deter?
Pulling up the screens, is it?
Yes, they're tearing the insect screens apart.
I'm wondering whether they might be using that for nesting material.
Oh, that makes sense, doesn't it?
The other day, by the way, for those people who watch ravens, one of the incredible things you can find that when you're near a raven's nest, when the ravens are normally flying, their wing beats are quite up and down regularly, but when they are nesting, when they fly, they have this literally a quivering beat with their wings. If you just watch them, you can see this rather rapid, soft beat of their wing rather than the deep beating of their wing, and that means that they're pretty close to the nest. So my suspicion is that they might be using the material of the fly wire to build a nest. I very much doubt whether they'd be seeing another insect caught.
Well, that's it. We're done for Birdman, and we'll be back next week with more Birdman activities. This is Gibbo Gab. Goodbye.